Greetings survivors and friends, SHADOWFRAX here with an earlier than usual update vid as I have important pie-related business tomorrow, but I'm reporting live from the staging branch right now, where it appears the new giant excavator pit monument will definitely be getting dumped onto Maine in the next forced wipe on August the 1st. And firstly, before I go any further, because there are still a couple of weeks to go, remember this monument is under construction, so any facts or figures I mention could very well change between now and then. Okay, so the mother of all quarries is here and she's a monster. Not only is this a huge monument with many ways in and out, but it's also a rather interactive one as well, as you'll see, and I'm sure you'll be able to tell why the team have taken their time over it. Some things to note up front though. Your mother told you not to play on giant excavators for a reason, and if you ignore her, you'll need to bring some supplies because this one's protected by both radiation and the Blue Man Group. I counted 18 of them on my first visit, for instance. There are also some loot crates here, but nothing really special because unlike the oil rigs, that's not the main reason why you'll be visiting. I said this is an interactive monument, and once you've purged it of scientists, you'll be able to get down to the real business of mining, which first of all involves topping up this tank in the core, for which you'll need a new resource, diesel. More on how you get that in a moment. Once you've popped some in, you can fire up the Jenny, and you'll notice that just like the oil rigs, there's a set pager code here, which will broadcast to everyone whilst she's on. Handy. Next thing you'll need to do is hop down to one of the two cockpits at the front and use the control panel here to choose which resource to mine, be it stone, sulfur, metal or high-qual ore. It can only mine one at a time, but as soon as you choose, the bucket wheel will start spinning and the arm will start swinging, as if it wasn't obvious enough that you were using it already. Once that's done, the chosen resource will start being extracted and will get split up equally into two separate piles, each with 36 slots, right at the opposite end of the excavator, and I'm sure you can tell already that this isn't exactly the best monument for solos to tackle. Doable, but there'll be a lot of walking involved. Also, something to note is not to get too close to the stream of falling resources, as it does chafe, and unless you want your body parts to be equally distributed as well, then you should definitely stay away from the bucket wheel. I did say your mother warned you. Anyway, as I mentioned, you'll need a new resource to make this all work, diesel, and currently, this is the only place you'll need it, but where do you get it, I hear you ask? Diesel stacks to 20, and at the moment there are several places you'll find it. A couple of barrels spawn on the oil rigs, at the junkyard, and on top of the sphere tank. You can also buy it at the scientist compound for a hefty 300 low grade per barrel at the time of filming this, although it's not final, and just like the real thing, the price may well change. You do potentially get a lot of ground for your pound though, as 10 diesel is enough to extract about 14,000 metal ore, double that amount in stone, or about 400 high-qual. You could get nearly 5,000 sulfur for that much too, but as I say, you can only choose to extract one type at a time. The excavator does start burning through fuel at the rate of about 1 barrel every 2 minutes as soon as you start the Jenny, and that's another reason to tackle this one with friends so you don't waste time running backwards and forwards. Oh, and there's a recycler here, which is handy if you do have time to burn, and it's worth mentioning these nodes are just for show. You can't mine them manually. Sorry. Lastly, the excavator does have a pretty big building block zone, as you can see here, although again, this is subject to change, and I see from the commits that it was reduced slightly this week already, but hey, we've got all the space in the world on this island, so what's a few square miles between friends? All in all, I can see this producing some very interesting gameplay, as it'll be a hotly contested monument, but what do you think? Please leave me a comment down below. In other development news this week, Rust's HDRP graphics overhaul is still generating plenty of commits, with work on environment shaders and, intriguingly, a movie maker branch, which sounds very interesting for us content creators. There's something here about a water height test, and I'm interested to hear more on what that's about. There's a new force triggers branch, no word on exactly what that's about yet either, although I have my guesses, and there are a few adjustments to procedural generation, namely barren maps will now have harbours, oil rigs and water wells, large monuments and prefab mountains are getting stripped from smaller maps, and a server's identity will now be taken into consideration when determining a default seed, which helps with running multiple instances on the same hardware without generating identical maps. Also, you can now deploy items under the water barrel. Wow. That's about all I've got for you this week. Please spank all the buttons and bells and let me know your thoughts on the new monument, etc. Follow me on Twitch, where I stream every week, and keep up to date with me on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group links in the pinned comment. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio. Wow.